In 2019, we're living in Austin, Texas, and really almost a dream life. Had a great role at a church there, loved the community we lived in. And then we got rocked with some news that we never imagined would happen when we found out our middle daughter, Addie, was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 7. And man, it rocked our world. And we didn't really know how to respond initially, but God was good to us in that time. And through that, as we began to see God healing her through her 3-year journey of treatment, the question that I just could not shake in my mind was, how can I make my life count? And as I began to wrestle through that, I realized that I could not escape what I had been kind of pushing off for the last 10 years, that God was moving me to plant a church.
So when we moved here in 2013, man, like life started to happen. Like within 6 months of being here, my mother passed away. 6 months following, my wife had a brain aneurysm, and by the grace of God, she's here with us today.
It's awesome.
And so we were navigating and moving, still knowing we were called to plant. And then we became a part of a church plant. And through that process, we were introduced to Carolina Movement.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, which was an amazing thing to be connected to.
Yeah, it's been that way for me too. So, when we're living in Austin, I did the most spiritual thing I could do. I got on Google and I Googled church planting in North Carolina. And through that, God divinely connected me with Carolina Movement.
Through my experiences, man, in the African-American church in my upcoming, typically, you were either kicked out or you left in some sort of rebellion. And so you didn't always have the support. So church planting was a foreign term for me coming up in ministry. And so, as a church planter, you have difficult times. And to have that encouragement when you're going through those seasons of not knowing, of fear of failure, or fear of the unknown, to have seasoned pastors supporting you not only financially with their resources, but with their experiences to come along and encourage you so you can keep going on the journey has just been an amazing thing.
We were coming up on the 1-year mark anniversary of our church, and I just went through a dark season, unlike any other season in my life. And it was just amazing the foundation that I'd had through the relationships that Carolina Movement helped establish with Hepzibah Baptist, and having Pastor Aaron there kind of to coach me through the process, and other local planters, not just in Raleigh, but across the state that I could reach out to and talk about some of my struggles. And even in that process, learning that I wasn't the first person, and I certainly won't be the last person to go through it. But it really solidified for me that nobody should plant alone, and we really are better when we're together. And honestly, I'm not sure how I would have pulled through those dark times if I didn't have those connections, that support, and that relationship.
The awesome thing is we get to keep it moving. We get to plant and support other churches and be a part of what's happening here in Carolina. It is truly a movement that's making a difference in the lives of people.
It gets me excited thinking about the fact that we're going to have an opportunity to reach churches in all 100 counties across the state of North Carolina. Man, that's incredible. And for us as pastors, we only have so much time on this earth. Our ministry has a shelf life, but what we invest in others will determine the legacy that we leave behind, and ultimately the kingdom impact that we can make. And so I hope if you are considering how to invest some of your church's kingdom resources, I cannot think of a better thing to invest in locally than Carolina Movement. As we watch God do what only He can do, I believe the best is yet to come.